Hello and welcome to coachingbasketball.co.uk. My name is John Officer and this is episode 4 of our look into the Flex Offence. Now, episode 2 dealt with the basic rotations of the Flex, and the preceding episodes 3 and 4 have been dealing with the teaching points arising from that. So today we're looking at the down screen action that was dealt with in episode 2. If you haven't seen episode 2, certainly check it out because some of this stuff may not actually make sense to you if you're seeing this for the first time. So here we see number 1 has dropped down to set that screen for number 3. Number 3 has 3 options, which is curl to the basket, pop to the top, or go out to the free throw line. So you really have to make sure that there's 3 main teaching points that you need to emphasize when you're dealing with screens in any offense. One is to read the defender. So don't come off at 100 miles an hour off of a screen. He's got to take his time and review where the defender is going in the sense of, has he been snagged on the screen? Is he fighting through, or is he fading to the basket side? So he needs to understand where the defender is placed before he actually makes a cut and takes advantage of that. So if the defender follows the offensive player right around the screen, then you've got the curl to the basket. If he gets snagged on the screen, then you've got the pop to the free throw line, or you've got the blast cut to the top. Second teaching point is to communicate with the passer. This may cause a little bit of controversy with some coaches by you actually asking for audio cues to take place. So if you're getting number 3 to call out to 2, curl cut or curl, and so to receive the ball in a better position. I find this actually works quite well in the sense of the passer knows where the ball is supposed to be placed. He's able to read the defense a little bit better. He's able to make a good quality pass, and then you're not making any bad passes for a turnover. So you're going to get a higher shooting percentage. You're going to get reduced turnovers during your games resulting from bad passes. Some coaches disagree with audio cues, but I find if you're getting the likes of NBA coaches and NCAA coaches, the most watched, most scouted leagues in the world, and these guys are still insisting on their players giving audio cues. They obviously feel that that sort of the benefit outweighs the negative side of things, and I feel the same as well. More often than not, you're going to have defender A not knowing what these audio cues are referring to, and B, they're not in a position to take any advantage of it. Finally, you've got to teach then the separation after the screen takes place. What I'm talking about here is number 1 setting that screen, and as number 3 utilizes the screen and the defenders are reacting to it, number 1 has to sprint out to a pre-designated spot then to make sure that he's in a great position for a scoring opportunity. We'll deal with that in a few moments. Here you're seeing the same action taking place, but essentially what's going on is the defender, the triangular icon there, is being a bit sneaky. He's seeing that more often than not the offensive player is cutting to the top or the free throw line. So what you want to do there is get the guys to read that and then fade to the corner or do a backdoor cut. As you say, with the defense, they're always going to give up something if they take something away. So here they're taking away that pass to the top, but then they're giving up that backdoor cut. A teaching point here is number 1 has got to ensure, again, as we discussed in episode 3, that his back is angled. If you've got the fadeaway there into the corner, his back is angled to the bottom left-hand side. That gives a good screening front, and it means then the defender has to move around the screen, and because the screen is bigger in that direction, he's going to have to add another step on to his sprint out to cover that pass, which gives more time for your offensive player. Additionally, if you go for the backdoor cut, then as number 3 is popping out to the 3-point line, if his defender's moving out with him, then at that stage number 1 is angling his back to the bottom right-hand side. And then you've got that backdoor cut for the pass into underneath the key. At that stage, you're looking for an audio cue from your player to call for that pass. One other bit that I maybe missed in the previous slide was when we dealt with the down screen, you've got that sort of pop to the top or pop to the free throw line. One point I sort of forgot to mention is I wouldn't have your players going to the free throw line except for in shooting drills. The 5-on-5 offense that you run in your half court or full court, don't get them or don't encourage them to go to that free throw line, simply because we've found that, especially with the junior players, then they do it all the time, irrespective of what the read is off of the screen. They're expecting a pass, and they can get that pass without any problems, but the defense is reacting to it because they're clogging up the ball, up the center line and up the 3-second area, and they're taking away that drive, the passing angles, and the shooting options. So it's starting to snare up the offense. So really only look towards that pass to the top or that curl cut to be teaching points within the whole of your offense. Finally, from this perspective on this backdoor cut, you want number 4 here on the post side to make sure that he's demanding the ball. He's keeping his defender honest. The reason for that is if his defender is not trying to defend number 4, he's able to play help side defense, and he could take away that backdoor cut for number 3. Teaching point there is to make sure, if you sort of make clear to the post player that if he doesn't demand the ball, he's not ever going to get it. If he does demand it, there's occasions during the game that he could get it. Once in a blue moon, that's fair enough, but he could get the ball for a scoring opportunity. Earlier in this presentation, we dealt with the separation after the screen as a key teaching point. Here you need to let your players know. Here we've got number 1 setting a screen for 3. 3's popped off, and number 1's separating it by sprinting into the corner looking for that skip pass. You really have to sell to your players the fact that if they set a screen, they can still score. That's an absolute must, especially with junior players. We're finding here that the junior players feel that they're being taken out of the offense because they're having to set a screen. They're not understanding that if you're setting a good quality screen and you've got a curl to the basket, most of the defense will react to that and cover that score at the basket, that sort of drive to the basket, and that leaves the screener open for a shot opportunity, or at least to receive the ball. So you need to sell that to your players and make sure that they know as soon as they set a screen, they need to sprint to a designated spot, because they can score if they do that properly. Finally, here we deal with the backdoor cut. So number 3 hasn't read the screen properly. The defender has gone high side on the screen and is taking away that passing angle from top to top. So as you see number 3 going up to the very top of the 3-point line, if the defender is got his head and shoulders in that passing lane, then that's the cue for number 3 to go backdoor. Selling point here is make sure that you never ever get your players to fake that backdoor cut. The amount of bad passes you will get from that will be just ridiculous. You could lose a game if you don't teach this properly. So make sure that if they're going to go backdoor, they have to cut all the way through. The rotation off of that, if number 3 goes to the basket, doesn't get the ball, number 1 pops to the top and 3 takes 1's old position. So it means then if the defender locks down number 3, even on that backdoor cut, denies that pass, 3 still has to go through with it and fill the corner spot. So it means then you've got somebody coming up. You'll find number 1 is more open than not, because his defender will probably sag off to try and reduce the opportunity number 3 has by going backdoor. So if he sprints to the top, he should be open for that pass. So that's the teaching points really leading off of the down screen. This will be the last presentation I do for several weeks, because I'm heading off to Mexico for my honeymoon soon enough, and that'll be probably about a month or so before the next one comes online. So again, I appreciate any feedback that you have, any questions or comments, and I'll certainly try and answer them. So thanks very much for listening. Bye-bye.